Airports can be really loud and stressful, especially if you're traveling with kids. But what if instead of waiting in the terminal for your flight, you could wait in a place that's a quiet, luxurious sanctuary that's full of free food and drink? Well, you can, and they're called airport lounges. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly how to get into these lounges, so keep watching. If you're new to Top Flight Family, my name is Carmen, we're the Sognonvi family, and we are all about inspiring families to travel the world together in comfort and style. We share tips on how you can save time, reduce hassle, and maximize comfort when you travel with kids. So if that sounds good to you, please subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video. Also be sure to follow us on Instagram at Top Flight Family. For a lot of people, airport lounges are kind of shrouded in mystery. Does it cost a fortune to get into an airport lounge? Who gets to get access to an airport lounge and who doesn't? What types of different airport lounges are there? If I try to get into an airport lounge, am I going to get laughed out of the room? In this video, I'm going to break down why airport lounges are so great for families, how to get access to airport lounges, and how to make the most of your time at an airport lounge. First, let's talk about why families should use airport lounges. Benefit number 1. Peace and quiet. Lounges are quiet, peaceful spaces that provide families with an escape from the chaos of the airport terminal. If kids are in a relaxed environment, it really helps to calm them down before a flight. Staying in a lounge is an especially great option if you have kids with any kind of sensory issues, because you're pretty much removing a lot of the stressful stimulus that an airport terminal has. Benefit number 2, comfortable seating. The seating in airport lounges is way more comfortable than the seating that you're going to get at the gate. And let's be honest, it isn't just the kids who are overstimulated and full of nervous energy at an airport. Us grown-ups need to relax as well. Even if you're a seasoned traveler, it can feel really stressful to try to get everyone in your family where they need to be, when they need to be, making sure you're not forgetting anything important like your luggage or your passports, and all the while you're surrounded by tons of stressed out strangers. On the other hand, the minute that I walk into a lounge, I know that I can sit back and relax and the entire vibe changes for me. Benefit number 3, free food and drink. One of the annoying things about air travel is just how overpriced everything is in the airport terminal. So one thing I really appreciate about airport lounges is that they provide complimentary food and drinks. So I don't have to pay those inflated prices for food in the terminal. Now at lounges, the food selection can really range. It can range from a full buffet of hot entrees, like this one at the Marhaba Lounge in Dubai International Airport. It can be something like a make your own salad or make your own noodle soup bar, kind of like this one at the Delta Sky Club. And it can go all the way down to super bare bones offerings like pretzels and crackers. Some lounges definitely have better food than others, but it's still nice that everything is in one place and you don't have to wait in line. Oh, and I should mention there are usually complimentary alcoholic beverages too. It's always nice to enjoy a glass of wine before getting on a flight, because after all, vacation should start the minute you set out on your journey. It shouldn't be all work and stress until you get to your destination. So that's a really nice way to kind of kick off and get into that vacation mode. Benefit number 4, charging stations. Airport lounges usually have tons of charging stations, so everybody can use their devices, watch some YouTube, stream some Netflix shows, or do some work on their laptops without having to wait for an outlet to open up. Okay, so we've talked about why your family should choose to wait in an airport lounge. Now let's talk about how to actually get in one. There's a bunch of different methods, so I'm going to break it down for you. Method 1. Fly first or business class. Now the easiest, but possibly also the most expensive way to get into a lounge is to fly first or business class. Now unfortunately these days, if you're on a domestic flight, even if it's first or business class ticket, that is probably not going to qualify you to get lounge access. But if you're flying first or business class and you're on an international flight, then most of the time that should get you into the lounge of that airline. That said, there are exceptions, so if lounge access is really important to your family, find out before you book your ticket. We had a situation once where we flew to Cabo first class on American, and they wouldn't let us use the Admirals Club. And that's because they only consider first class flights in and out of Mexico City to be eligible for lounge access. So if you're flying first class in or out of anywhere else in Mexico, you're out of luck. So be sure to read the fine print or just call the airline's customer service number to verify that you're going to have lounge access before you purchase that first class ticket. Method 2, reach elite status. The second way you can gain access to the lounge is through status. In other words, by being a loyal, frequent flyer. So if you fly often, you'll definitely be rewarded by choosing to fly with the same airline as often as possible. You probably already know about the benefits of earning miles, but there's also other perks. If you make Altitude Elite 50K status on Air Canada or Premier Gold on United, for example, you'll get access to most of the Star Alliance airport lounges around the world. The SkyTeam Airline Alliance, which is made up of Delta, Air France, KLM, and other airlines, offers airport lounge access for certain elite members. And also, if you're an American Airlines flyer, the One World Alliance also gives access to lounges for certain elite members. So you definitely want to check what level is going to qualify you for lounge access, and that should give you an idea of how often you're going to need to fly that airline to reach that status. By the way, if you'd like a free copy of my guide, 9 ways to add some luxury to your next family vacation, just go to topflightfamily.com/luxury and enter your email address. And I'm gonna link that below as well. Okay, here's the next way you can get into an airport lounge. Method 3, buy a membership. You can get into airport lounges by simply buying memberships to specific airline lounge networks. So for example, we fly Delta all the time and we use the Delta Sky Club a lot. And if you wanted an annual membership to that lounge, it's $495 per year. You get unlimited access and you can bring up to 2 guests for $29 each. For families, a better option might be the executive membership. That costs $745 for the year, and it includes complimentary access for the member and up to 2 guests per visit, so you don't actually have to pay extra for the guests. So if your family flies that airline really frequently, you may find that it's cheaper to actually pay for a membership than to pay each time you use the lounge. Method number 4, have the right credit card. Another way to gain access to airport lounges is just to have the right credit card. So I have the Delta Sky Miles Reserve American Express card, which gives me complimentary access to the Delta Sky Club. Serge also gets complimentary access to the Delta Sky Club through a different card, which is the American Express Business Platinum card. Both of us can bring up to 2 guests each at $29, so that's what we usually pay for the girls. Now, another great benefit of both of these credit cards is that they also give us access to the Centurion lounges. These are the American Express branded lounges, which are fantastic, and they're always adding new ones. So that's another perk that we really enjoy as well. Method number 5, get Priority Pass. Priority Pass is another great way to get access to airport lounges. When you have a Priority Pass membership, you get access to more than 1,300 Priority Pass lounges located in 143 different countries. So yeah, it's a lot. Some of these lounges can be pretty basic, so we often use the Wingtips lounge at JFK, and that's not super luxe, but it's got the essentials. That said, some Priority Pass lounges can actually be really, really nice. For example, the lounge in the Taipei airport had a whole noodle bar and a lady making fresh noodles, and they were delicious. And the lounge in the Punta Cana airport in the Dominican Republic actually has an outdoor pool that overlooks the runway. It's really, really cool. You can purchase a basic membership for $99 per year, and that allows you to use the Priority Pass lounges, but you'll have to pay $32 each time you use a lounge. A better option is to sign up with one of the big travel credit cards like Chase Sapphire Reserve or American Express Platinum. That way you'll get a free Priority Pass Select membership, which is 1 level up, and that gives you free access to the lounges, plus you can bring up to 2 guests for free as well. Now, there's going to be certain airports that may not have a Priority Pass lounge, but that they have actually worked out a deal with the restaurant in the airport for Priority Pass members. So for example, in the Denver airport, there's a restaurant called Timberline Steaks and Grill. And there we got $28 per person off of our bill. So we basically had a completely free meal. One thing to note though is that during busy hours, lounges can sometimes restrict access to just first class flyers or to just those flyers with elite status. So you may not always be able to get in with your Priority Pass membership. But as long as you're prepared for that possibility and you have a plan B in mind, it shouldn't be too disruptive. Method 6, buy a day pass. When all else fails, keep in mind that many lounges will allow you to buy a day pass. So that's a great option for families who, for example, only travel once a year, but they really want to up-level their vacation. So rates are going to vary for each lounge, but typically it'll be anywhere between $30 to $50 per person. So you'll have to decide if it's worth it for your family. I would say that if anyone in your party gets overstimulated easily, or if they suffer from anxiety, then lounge access could really be priceless. Typically, the longer the layover, the more worthwhile it is for any family to get into a lounge. But just as is the case with Priority Pass, keep in mind that during busy hours, many lounges will restrict access to just first-class passengers or just those flyers with elite status. And those times they may not actually allow you to purchase a day pass. So just keep that in mind. Method number 7, show your active duty military credentials. Many US airlines have pretty generous military policies. You've probably heard military personnel being invited to board early at a gate, for example. But one benefit that you may not be as familiar with is that a lot of airlines will also offer complimentary lounge access if you're active duty military. I'm going to link below to a really great article on this topic on The Points Guy, and it was written by a former naval officer, and he found that about 90% of the time he was able to access airport lounges once he showed evidence that he was active duty. Keep in mind that every airline has different rules about this, so always be sure to look up the policy in advance. Some might want you to show your military ID and leave orders, others might require you to be in uniform, and most will also allow entry for immediate family members who are traveling with you, so that's a great benefit as well. Sometimes the written policies are not enforced in a consistent way, so it's a good idea to actually pull up those policies on your phone, just in case a staff member is telling you that you don't have access to the lounge, and if you need to contradict them and show some evidence, then that can be helpful. Just know that lounge access is something that you should be entitled to as active duty military personnel. You just have to do a little bit of research before you travel. Okay, so now you know why airport lounges are great for families, you know how to access them. Now let's talk about how to make the most of your time when you're at an airport lounge. Number 1, get to the airport early. We're the type of family who likes to get to the airport 2 hours early so we don't have to feel rushed or stressed. But part of the reason we enjoy getting to the airport that early is because it gives us more time to relax in the lounge. After all, if you're going to go through the expense or the effort of getting into an airport lounge, you should really give yourself some time to actually enjoy the experience. Number 2, bring your kids. You should know that even though many airport lounges are filled predominantly with business travelers, kids are definitely allowed in lounges. We've never ever been denied access because we had kids with us. Now, that said, as a parent, I do believe that it's our responsibility to make sure that our kids are well behaved. After all, everyone else in the lounge is trying to relax or get some work done, and if they wanted to be surrounded by chaos, they would hang out in the terminal, not in a lounge. So please be a responsible parent and a good fellow traveler by keeping your kids well behaved. Number 3, fly that airline. Some airport lounges are not linked to a specific airline, but others like Delta Sky Club are. So if it's an airline lounge, you need to actually be flying that airline that day to use it. So for example, even though I have complimentary access to the Delta Sky Club with my Delta Reserve card, if I'm flying United that day, I'm not going to be able to use that lounge because I'm flying a different airline. Number 4, check the location. Sometimes the airport lounge will be located in a different terminal than the one that you're flying out of. If the terminals are close to each other and connected by a walkway, this is not usually that big of a deal. But if you'll need to take a shuttle bus or an air train to get between the terminals, then you might want to rethink whether it's worthwhile using that lounge if you'll have to travel so long just to get to your gate. Also, some lounges are actually located in areas before you go through security. The American Express Centurion Lounge at LaGuardia Airport, for example, is located before security. So that means if you use that lounge, you'll have to build in time not only to get to your gate for boarding, but also to get through security first. So before you access a lounge, check its location on a map of the airport in relation to the gate that you're boarding from, and be sure to build in enough time to actually get to your gate. Number 5. Know when the lounge isn't worth it. If you get to the airport late, like if there's less than 30 minutes before boarding starts, it might not be worth it to even enter the lounge. If this happens to us and the lounge is located right by our gate, then we'll probably still go in so we can just grab a quick bite to eat first. But if the lounge is a long walk from our gate, then we'll probably just skip it and wait in the terminal. Number 6, you can take a shower. This is a bit of a fun fact, but many lounges actually have shower facilities. Now, so far we haven't had any situations where we've needed to use them, but it's really nice to know that they're available. I imagine showers are probably more for business travelers on long-haul flights who have a meeting right after they land and they need to freshen up beforehand. But it could also be useful if your kid had some kind of accident or if you have to go to a special event as soon as you land. So just keep in mind that that's another benefit of certain airport lounges. Okay, so if you want to learn about 9 ways you can add some luxury to your next family vacation, just click there and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.